Hey there, Purple Rain 81 here. This video is going to be a revisit video on the SOG Tigerstripe Trident. The reason why I'm doing this is I think it's necessary to come back after you do an unboxing or your initial impressions on any kind of product review after you've had a chance to really test it out. And I've carried this with me for a few months now, every day. So it's gotten quite a bit of use, and I'm going to go over some of the pros and cons for it. So hopefully that'll help guide your judgment whether or not it sounds like it's going to be a good fit for you. I'll start with the pros and move on to the cons. The pros, one is that it's very lightweight. It's a decent size folder, but it's not very heavy at all. You don't really notice in your pocket that much, and it does have that bayonet style belt clip, so it sits real low in your pocket. Let's see what else. The assisted opening on it is excellent. It opens very fast. Very little effort to open it. So it's real good in that category as far as being assisted opening. Pretty quick. Excellent edge retention. I've only had to touch it up a little bit, and that's just because I prefer to keep my knives razor sharp always. But I could have not touched this blade and it still would have been more than adequate. Let me see what else. The arc lock on it, I'm very happy with this type of locking mechanism. I really like it. Had the ease of use with it being right there at your thumb. I like that a whole lot. Let me see what else. That's pretty much it. I mean, just overall, it's a good knife. I've been really happy with it. So it is one that I'd recommend. Okay, moving on to the cons. There's a couple. One of them is, this is always kind of a topic when people are talking about this knife, is this little thing right here. Get it in the camera here. This paracord cutter or wire cutter, whatever you want to call it, seatbelt cutter. A lot of people, say that it's useless, and other people say it's a good, innovation, blah blah blah. After carrying this for a while, I will have to say that, although it doesn't hurt anything with it being on the knife, I never use it, ever. Part of the reason is because when you're trying to use this to cut paracord, if that's what you're using for or whatever, because of the design, you can kind of see here how, because of the way that the blade is curved and the direction that they have this going into the back, you're actually not, when you're pulling the cord through this, you're not pulling it into the cutting direction of the blade. You're actually going with it, like away from it. And I don't really know why they did that, because if they would have angled it in the opposite direction, it would have cut a lot better, because you would have been using the blade shape to help cut whatever you're pulling through there, not the opposite way. So I don't really know why they did that. To me, I think it's kind of just a design flaw, really. It would have been a lot more effective if you would have been utilizing the shape of this blade to cut into it, or I'm sorry, cut into it this direction instead of going this direction with the blade, if that makes any sense to you. So I don't really use it, and because it's so fast to open this up and use this serrated part, which I think is better for cutting paracord and so forth, it's just easier to do that. And another reason why I'm not a real big fan of this feature is they put this little lock on there. I'm sure you probably saw it in the other review, to lock the blade in place so you can't open this. What I found was sometimes with it sitting in my pocket, it would bump this lock, and I wouldn't realize it until I went to pull the blade out to use it, and then realized that it was locked when I couldn't get it to open, and then you have to sit there and fumble with the lock to get it unlocked, and then open the blade, and it was just really irritating to me. And especially because if I ever was in a position to where I had to use this knife to defend myself, and I didn't know that that lock was actuated, and went to pull it out, and I couldn't get my blade out, and especially being in a high, pressure situation, um, those couple seconds where you're fumbling with that might cost you your life. So I went ahead and I just Loctited it open, solved the problem. Not really that big of an issue, um, but that was another thing I didn't really care for. Um, and the last thing that I wasn't happy with is I ordered this in this tiger stripe pattern, and it costs more rather than just a plain black or an unfinished blade, because I liked the pattern. And for some reason, SOG makes excellent products, but their powder coating is lacking. It scratches really easy. I don't know how well you can see these, but you can kind of see some of the scratching there and here, and then you can kind of see on the tip there where it's basically worn off. And I was very unhappy with that, because of how easily it did come off, and the fact that I paid extra for this finish and that it was a SOG product. I really felt that the finish should have held up a lot better than that. So what I would recommend doing before if you order this, or even the black, before you even use the knife, get some of this and I put about three light coats on it, and that solved the problem. It doesn't scratch really at all anymore. It doesn't really put much of a shine on it, so if you use that matte finish, that kind of prevents that, keeps that a little bit of that powdered look. But that's what I would recommend doing. Loctite that lock, and then put a couple coats on that, and you're set. I mean, I haven't had any bit of issue with this knife. It functions perfectly well. Does every job I ask it to. But aside from those couple little things, I've been really happy with it. And they do. I know that SOG makes a couple other knives that don't have, at least to my knowledge, this is the only one that has this cutter on it. That don't have that, don't have that blade lock. But if you don't mind having to do those couple little things, it's a good knife to have. Other than that, and like I said, that makes it sound like I really don't care for the knife. Not at all. I've been pretty happy with it. So I still would recommend this knife. I would recommend doing those couple things with this before you use it. You're going to save yourself some headache if you do that. But as always, thanks for watching. If you have any questions or anything, feel free to leave them. I'll get back to you. Thanks a lot. Prepper Marine 81 out.